Okay, here's about 17-minute video of getting Marky, this white Arabian, into the trailer, as well as the thoroughbred / Arabian cross that's over on the right side. Now, my horse River, BLM Mustang, that I've had for a little bit, is already in the trailer. This is a new trailer for Marky and for Erro, and I've got another trailer, a little stock trailer that they've been being trained with, and they got pretty good with that. I predominantly had worked with Erro. He's less trained, younger, and has major fears and has had bad experience with trailers. So there's some other videos that go over more of his trailering training that I went through. The principles are always the same, but Marky had done it well one time. There was a couple little questions and issues, and anyways, I knew that I was going to take him out to Bryce Canyon, Utah for a couple of days, and I figured Marky was good enough that I'd be willing to do a training session with him. So I've just planned on an extra 20 minutes of loading up just to deal with this, and I think he got in around minute 14. So here you're going to see that I'm going to create stimulus with that lead rope, and so here see, once he feels a little bit of pressure on that halter pulling down on his pole, he backs up a little bit. Every time he puts his nose down, the first thing a horse wants to do is rub their whiskers, those Fabrici, on whatever they're getting curious about. Those Fabrici or whiskers are kind of like what we would use as our thumbs and our fingers. So it's really important to let them put their head down. See, there he does it again. And but he's gonna try to not deal with this. He's gonna turn, and I'm gonna ask for his attention back. As long as he's focusing in on this trailer, I'm gonna totally relax and be quiet, meaning I'm not gonna give him any stimulus. I don't care how long this takes. See him just count how many times, or just be mindful of how many times he puts his nose on the ground and for how long. And so I'm just going to be here very quiet with that. Now I'm going to ask for the attention. So as soon as that nose comes up off the floor and he starts looking at anything else, I'm going to ask for that attention back. And having a lead rope obviously is a really great thing. So there, that's kind of mostly his. You might hear me clucking. That means move your feet forward. And so he's gotten a little bit more confident to get both feet up. But then he went and sniffed the wall. So usually they'll do that. They'll just start. I mean, I've had horses like rub their Fabrici up on the ceiling, both sides of the wall, the back of the trailer. It's just them exploring. It's curious, and whenever you've got a cautious horse and you're trying to get him to be confident, you want to bridge that caution to confidence with curiosity. So let him get curious, even if he backs out. The goal is not to get the horse in the trailer. That's the result. The goal is to make the trailer feel so much safer than outside, and really to be the safest place that he could be. If we reach that goal, well, then the result will be that he'll just walk into the trailer because it'll be a totally comfortable and great place. So he's going to go back to sniffing around. Again, I don't care. See, once you give them that time to be able to put their nose and their Fabrici all over the place and let them, they'll make the choice to step in. So there's two things that have to happen. One, you've got to get their attention, their focus, and the other is you got to let them get curious about things. There's the licking and chewing. See, he's not very curious right now. So I'm going to ask for that nose to come back. As soon as he's got a focus, he's going to get curious. Now he's going to step into the trailer because his curiosity is kind of already peaked, and so if he keeps wanting to rub his Febreze and sniff and check things out, that's totally fine. I mean, the way it works is they're going to touch it with their Febreze, then their nose, then they're going to put their nose over it. So think about the threshold, the end of that trailer. They're going to put their nose over it, and then their neck over it, and then their feet are going to be the next thing. And typically it's not going to be a full step. It's going to be like a half a step, or their hoofs are going to hit the end of it, or they're going to paw at it. Again, that's just more curiosity. So I want to reward that curiosity, putting his head down. See how high his head goes up? When the head is up, the brain is off. In other words, it's the limbic reactive brain. When the head is down, which is really, really intelligently designed in the horse, their thinking brain, if you will. So they're really trying to think and process when they put their head down, but they also explore and get curious about things with their Febreze, so that kind of goes hand in hand. So notice I'm not asking him to come into the trailer. I'm just wanting it to be a really safe place. How can it be safe if he never goes in? So at times I've got to ask, but it's not about getting in the trailer. It's about feeling comfortable in the trailer. You're going to see, I think in a second, I'm going to actually get him to come all the way in. And then as soon as he comes all the way in, he kind of feels confident about it, I ask him to step out. And then I want to like yo-yo him in and out. So as soon as he goes out, I'm going to ask him to come back in. As soon as he comes in and he feels confident, I'm going to ask him to go out. It's a paradox. If you give me what I'm asking for, I'll give you what you're asking for. What he's really asking for is a safe place to be. And when he steps outside or when he hesitates to come inside, he's just saying, my safest place to be is out here, so I'd like to be out here. And so I'm telling him or suggesting to him that your safest place is actually to be in here. And so I'm proving my suggestion is true by letting him take the time that it takes to get curious and confident. That's another great principle. It's just take the time that it takes. If this would have taken 30 minutes, that would have been fine. I planned on about 20. But if it would have taken an hour, that would have been fine. So I never let a place to be more important than helping a horse find safety where he's at. So you'll see it's just more curiosity. And he's just relaxing. You know, if he can just stand there and I'm not asking him to come forward too often. There's this really, really fine balance of when to ask and when to just let it be. And as soon as they self-regulate, as soon as you can just see that everything is just calming down, they're getting into the parasympathetic nervous system, that state of rest, relax, calmness, confidence. As soon as they're getting into that state, then I like to ask them to do a little bit more. As soon as they come out of that state, I want them to self-regulate. So there's just this, the Greek word is phronesis. You're trying to do the right thing for the right reason in the right way at the right time in the right place. And that takes a tremendous amount of wisdom. And so here he he's eating a little bit, but he's probably also, that's helping him do some licking and chewing, get some dopamine running through the neural pathways and into the bloodstream. See how much curiosity still remains in him. He's looking out the window over at Erro. You can see Erro's kind of been busy-footed over there. That's just because Erro doesn't have that great of boundaries at this point. And, when they're anxious, they're trying to find where safety is, and they don't realize that safety comes from within. And so they think that it comes from somewhere outside of them, and therefore they move their feet to go find that place. And obviously it's not, it is rarely to be found, because safety comes from within. It's true for humans as well. So he came out, his coming out is not very soft, it's not very supple, but his going in is, that was kind of klutzy. So here's the part where I'm yo-yoing him. He's coming in and I'm asking him to go out. Then he comes in and I think I asked him to go out again. Yep. So it's not necessarily working on coming in and out in a really soft, supple way. That's a result. It's really showing him, whether you're inside or outside, you're safe, and allowing him to be curious, to develop the confidence, helps his mind get secure. An emotionally secure horse is a physically safe human. So an emotionally safe horse is a physically safe human. So I want him to develop emotional security. Therefore, he'll slow down his thinking and actually do a lot of great thinking. And horses obviously are very intelligent, but only if they stay out of the limbic response, fight, flight, and freeze, and into that mindfulness and the thoughtfulness, that what some people call the thinking brain. So I'm, following the feel, as Ray Hunt might say, and see, that head is low. It's kind of sniffing River. River's my Mustang in the back. He's just being nicely patient. If I feel like there's going to be some anxiety, maybe, anytime that those feet are moving, right, it's just a little sign of anxiety. If they move a lot, it's a lot of anxiety. If they move a little, it's a little anxiety. But I'm really just trying to be patient in there and help him to self-regulate. Again, as he self-regulates, I'm going to ask him to come out. It's just such a mind fry. It's like, no way. I thought I was going to have to stay in here. So right there, I was just testing to see, can I get you to go halfway out? And then when your front feet are still on and I just give a little pressure to come back into the trailer, will you be able to find and follow that suggestion that I have with the lead rope? And he's obviously doing really, really well. Right, so you're going to start seeing he's going to start softening up. This is not a desensitization. I'm not a big fan of desensitization. I think it deadens the senses. I want a horse that's very, very sensitive and supple. And so it's not desensitization to yo-yo him in and out. It's more following the feel of where he's at and rewarding the self-regulation, so that he learns when he's stressed, he just needs to self-regulate. Therefore, his senses remain heightened and alive, and he remains more healthy and emotionally, mentally. So now I've got him tied up, and I'm just going to let him sit there for a second. And now I'm going to go over to Erro and bring him in. Now, Erro's never been in this trailer either, so that was Marky's first time being in the trailer. This is Erro's first time being in the trailer. Erro is much younger and than Marky is, and also less trained. However, I've been working with Erro on the trailer. Again, there's a couple other YouTube videos that specifically address what I did with Erro. I mean, this guy wouldn't even get within 10 feet of a trailer. He was already pulling back. So with him, I kind of already know where he's at, so I'm going to take a little different approach. I give him some slack on the lead rope, but then I also hard tie it to the side. So if he wants to, he can't go anywhere, but he's not gonna pull back really hard. I should have got a better camera angle. There's a lot of float in the lead rope, but not enough that if he were to step in, he doesn't run the risk of stepping on or over the lead rope. Right, so there was a little stimulus that I added from behind, and I just want him to just get curious about things. So there's enough. He's starting to just move forward on his own. There's enough float in the rope that he can move his head around and put his Febreze eye on the floor and the ceiling, the sides. And so this is just him. This is his choice. This is what I want. I don't want to micromanage a horse. I want to teach a horse how to think so that he gets to use his own agency, his own thought process, his own choices, and that's a horse I want to ride, is a horse that knows how to think. So here I'm just it's always just an experiment. I think if you set things up safely, it's okay to experiment. I think it's critical to experiment. I think it's more critical to set things up safely so that the experiment doesn't run into an extra problem. I think I can't shut that door with the hay sitting there. And my buddy Tucker there is coming out with me. That's why we're taking a couple horses. And he's not a horse guy, slowly becoming one. So taking some time to explain what I'm doing. Oh, that's right. The wind blows the door, and that added little stimulus. See how nice and soft he just decides to move in. So I think I told Tucker, we stepped in, so we might as well close it. And so we just took advantage of that. But you'll see how soft and supple he is. Erro was